Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today we're going to talk about Abigail, which I saw in theaters this weekend. As per usual on Let's Talk Spoop, we break things into six separate categories. Those six separate categories are story, acting, music, atmosphere, look, and finally, creep. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Abigail. Story. So the story of Abigail is exactly what it shows in the trailers. A group of criminals have been brought together to perform a kidnapping and a 24-hour watch on their kidnapping victim, expecting a huge payoff, about $7 million apiece. What they don't know is that Abigail is actually a vampire, and she then goes on a killing rampage while they try to defend themselves against her. I gave it a 4 out of 5 for story. It's a pretty interesting way of doing a vampire tale. They talk a lot about like the different lores behind vampires. Fairly humorous scene when they talk about it, and they never really go into what's accurate and what's not, or any of that stuff, which I thought was cool because it left you wanting more information. Acting. So this movie stars Melissa Barrera. This movie was made by Radio Silence, who left the Scream franchise to work on it, and I guess they brought Melissa Barrera with them. She nailed it as Joey, who is a recovering drug addict, former military, who's just trying to do what she has to do to make some money, a lot of money, and she plays both the sweet character and at the same time a complete badass. Loved her. Then we've got Kevin Durand, he's the big dude on the right. Catherine Newton and Dan Stevens. This is most of the rest of the crew. There are two other crew members, but they die fairly quick. This is the majority of your crew, and the character interactions between these characters and Melissa Barrera's character was phenomenal. There's great comedy, great dialogue. Just I was laughing at the same time that I was creeped out. It was great, so I loved them. And then finally, we have Alicia Weir. I think that's her name. She is Abigail, and she nailed Abigail. She is both an adorable little 12-year-old girl and also a bloodthirsty monster. So obviously, 4 out of 5. There's no real standout roles, but it was very solid overall. Music. Abigail's a ballerina. She dances a lot, and throughout the movie, she plays different music while she's doing horrible things to these people, and she dances creepily to it. The music totally sets the atmosphere. It was wonderful, so 4 out of 5 for music. Atmosphere? Well, I've already kind of touched on it. The atmosphere is wonderful. It's a 5 out of 5. I was glued to my seat. I absolutely loved this movie. I wanted to see the bad things happen to the bad people, the good things happen to the good people. I wanted a happy ending. Yeah, overall, great. Look. It's lots of blood, special effects, some really funny bodies exploding, stuff like that. So for look, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Nothing super impressive, but very solid. And then finally, I gave it a 3 out of 5 for creep. So this movie isn't super creepy. It's pretty funny. It's got a lot of dark humor. There's a few good jumps though. They started off with a little bit of a creepy buildup, but it didn't really help that the trailers told you that Abigail was a vampire. So there was no like what's going on, no fear or anything like that, because you already knew what the plot was. And then additionally, one of the biggest complaint I have for this movie is the final fight is way too long. It's super drawn out. It was excessive. They didn't need it to go that long. So for Creep, 3 out of 5. So we add all that up. We get a grand total of 4 out of 5. If you couldn't tell from doing the math yourself, because I made it pretty easy. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I hope you do too. If you're a big fan of dark humor, you like vampire stuff, and you like creepy children, you will enjoy this movie. It was very well done. I know this is like 3 positive reviews in a row that I've done, and I'm sorry about that. I promise I'll watch something bad soon. But yeah, if you've seen the movie, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Think about liking, commenting, subscribing, please. We're trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We need about 700 more. So, you tell your friend, and then your friend tells their 2 friends, and then their 2 friends tell 2 more friends, and so on and so on. And eventually we get to 5,000. So, do that for me. I would appreciate it. And on that note, okay, thanks, bye.